Welcome to P&W Repair. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Andy. Today, we're doing something a little different, or a little different for the channel anyway. This is a lot of the typical stuff I do on a daily basis, but we have a Craftsman LT2000 with, what is it? I believe it's a 21 horse Gold Series Briggs junk that has a broken decompression lever on the camshaft, and even running it with that broken decomp lever, it clearly has governor issues as well. I did fire it up the other day, got it running, and she be screaming. So rather than invest the money in repairing that pile of junk, I happen to have a 500 something cc Kohler big single sitting here that is about the same power level, somewhere in that area, and we're going to opt to swap that guy in there. So this will just be a video on basically what's entailed on doing a job like that. Hang out and we'll get going. Start by getting this hood off of here. Guy that gave me this machine actually telling me this thing caught fire, and I'd believe it, judging by the look of the hood. Looks like that front grill got a little warm, melted some plastic. All right, so from there we'll go through, start unplugging stuff. You just got one bulkhead. Well, not a bulkhead, but one end line. Get out of there. Pocket pry stick it is. Yeah, one bulkhead, you got the starter motor wire, and that's really it for electrical. Once we get the new motor mounted in here, we'll figure out what we have to do for that Kohler. Just broke that tab, that's okay. The other thing pisses me off about Briggs is how we do a mix of standard and metric crap. And naturally, that starter lug is gonna want to twist off with the other lug on there. Typical. Can't get a good enough grip on there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we'll end up just throwing this motor on the shelf. This may be something I rebuild down the road. I don't do too much mower footage, and looking at the viewfinder, I'm seeing that you're not even in frame, so we're going to reposition you. Next thing we're going to do here, either side on that muffler, we got two, I'm assuming probably a 3/8 head bolt. It might be a 7/16. They're probably 3/8, so let's check. 3/8 it is, okay. We'll go ahead and take those four out. So I'll detach the muffler from the frame anyhow. I'm actually gonna grab a drill. Speed things up here. The old crappy DeWalt. There's a parts tray around here. Do I have an open one? Bolt tray somewhere? Probably not. We'll just put them on this table. That'll work. I probably won't even forget I put them there. So actually, in all reality, all that's doing is taking the heat shield off. But we got to take that off in order to pull this motor out, just to specify. I mean, you could unbolt the muffler from the motor, but I'm going to go with we're likely not going to use this muffler. We'll see after the new motor's in there, how it fits in there and whatnot. So our electrical is unhooked. Just that one 6-pin inline, and then the starter wire over on the other side. As far as this side, we have, what do we have? We have a vapor line from the tank here. Oh yeah, if it'll come off of there. Yep. We got this fuel supply to the carburetor. You don't need no stinking pliers, be a fucking man. Just tuck that back up in here like that. It's not leaking gas all over. That gas does not smell too great. It's weird it did run on it. It doesn't look bad. And it ran just fine. I mean, aside from the hunting from, you know, base idle to all the RPMs, ran just fine. But one other connector, well, I'm trying to think. No, we may not have to. Well, for shits and gigs, we'll pull the shut-off solenoid connector out of there. Pretty sure that's on the engine side harness, so that ain't gonna matter. Yeah, it is. So we can leave that hooked up. Duh. I haven't swapped one of these in a while, but it is pretty common practice, so. Rather than move a bunch of crap out of the way to get the cherry picker, I'm gonna go ahead and lift the front end and just put it on a 6-ton stand. Just gonna throw this right on the center of the axle beam. Alright. Drained all the water out of there, cool. So our next deal we're gonna do here, pull our strut rod off of the deck. Do that. Pull your clip. Pop that rod out. There we go. It's going to give us access up to the belt guard and the crank pulley. I think probably most of these bolts, as far as the motor mounts, the belt guard are probably a 9/16, maybe a half. Okay, so the belt guard looks like it's a 1/2 inch. Okay. I mean, I'm sure they're probably a metric bolt, but again, I'm going to use standard when I possibly can, because America. Yeah, America! Fuck yeah! The DeWalt wasn't such a piece of shit. the guy could zip these out without breaking them loose by hand, but unfortunately we can't do that very reliably. Belt guards off. Pull that belt off. So this seems to be one of those parts that people struggle on, that I hear about a lot, and that's taking the bolt out of the crank. Simplest way I've found that I do it. I'm sure there's like special holding fixtures and crap like that out there. I don't think I own a holding fixture for a Briggs of any sort, so no, I do. Especially these double stack pulleys. Just put a pipe wrench in it. And again, we'll go back to that. Be a fucking man. Hold it with one hand. Take it off with the other. That one's on there. It's got to be Loctited. That can't just be rust, I wouldn't think. Probably got Loctite on there. The old D-wall ain't gonna take that one out. No way, no how. Some red Loctite that son of a bitch on? Jesus. There we go. I don't think it was going to fall off. Tightest one I've had in a while, of course. I had to witness that one on camera. What do you think? Crappy DeWalt gonna whiz that out now. It's almost finger tight. Turn the clutch all the way up. It'll all be. Looks like anti-seize. Someone just hammered that son of a bitch in there. Probably with an impact, which is not something I would do. With how tight that was, we might have to put a puller on that crank pulley to get it off of there. Sometimes you can smack them with a hammer and they'll come off. I mean, I'd say a good 50% of the time they'll come off smacking with a hammer. Not always. That one is. Beautiful. Take our drive pulley off, or our drive belt off rather. And we're free. Free. Now, motor mounts. 9/16. Not your 14 metrics. Because America. Yeah, America! Fuck yeah! Get in there. 4 motor mount bolts. Break them loose and DeWalt hopefully will get them out the rest of the way. I mean, it is a piece of shit, so it's always a possibility it won't, but the guy can dream, you know? Kind of pisses me off. I took the time, spent the money to do an oil filter change on this, set the valves, go through all that mess when I first brought it home, just because the guy, I mean, I think he said it had a bad decompression lever, but I was kind of skeptical on that after I saw the valve lash was super loose, intake and exhaust. Then again, I did spin it around and I still didn't see any movement when that decompression lever should have been popping that valve open slightly. So I shouldn't have went through with it. I mean, I knew it at that point that, yeah, it's broken, but still chose to change the oil on it just to run it because it was full of gas. That shut off solenoid ended up sticking on them, I guess, and filled the crankcase with gas. So I went ahead and did that, and just to find out that, yeah, that governor is broken mechanically. I can't adjust it to where it was running right. It was done. I'm sure when I pull this unit apart, we'll find some broken gears and whatnot. Okay, let's get you reset. Pull this thing off of here. You know what I didn't disconnect? The fucking throttle cable, you dumb motherfucker. Alright. T20, maybe? What do you think? Probably T25. Stick around and find out. Yes, sir. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, now it'll come out. How did I have that? Easy. Stand up, you piece of crap. Okay, she's out. Clean up the deck here and see how that new one fits in. First thing second, does the double stack 1-inch Woodruff key drive pulley fit on a Kohler in place of this single stack? Damn it. Sure looks like a 1-inch shaft. Where's that keyway? There it is. Hot spit. Cool. Now we'll find out if our bolt holes line up to any orientated bolts on the deck. If not, we'll make new ones. I guess one of those things that maybe make something like this less intimidating to people out there, I'd say generally a riding mower's bolt pattern, just like a push mower's bolt pattern, is going to be very, very close, if not the same, manufacturer to manufacturer. So like Briggs to Kohler or Kohler to Cowie, a lot of the times they'll bolt right in place of one another. Not always, but of course if you have a drill and a 3/8 drill bit, you can fix that too. So let's test that previous theory. Gold Series Briggs, and we're putting the Kohler in. Will it bolt right up? I'm thinking it's pretty likely. That plugged it wrong. Gotta get your angle, huh? A big son of a bitch. Where's our bolt holes at? That one one's damn near right over it. Okay. Needs to scooch. I almost plucked it perfect to start. Not quite there though. Where's that other set of hands when you need them? Sleeping. There's one. Before I run down all the way, then get these other ones in here. Ooh. Easy there, Tiger. Oh, I chose the wrong hole. Son of a beach. Okay, take that bolt back out. Gotta go over one, guy. Somewhere in there. Oh, you mother. Come here. There we are. Where are we at over here? Well, right there. Ow. Fucking piece of shit works when I don't want it to work. Try to break my wrist. Oh, would you look at that? Bolts right in. Hot damn. We'll just snug those up. We went ahead and pulled the crank bolt from that Briggs. Checked it, and it is sitting at the right depth. For that double stack, it'll run in there just fine, so we're good on that front. Snug these fellers up. And pretty confident I ran this Kohler before I pulled it. And I think I needed to rebuild the carb. Looks like I've since robbed the fuel pump off of it. Sure, I got 1 or 3 or 10 of those laying around, so not a big deal there. Dude, this thing's gotta have black wiggers under that fan shroud. I'm sure there is. There's just black wigger web. I don't know what I pulled this even out of. It's been sitting on the shop floor for a while now. But she was a runner at one point, I think. So that's all there is to that. It's bolted in there. Now it's just a matter of making everything work the way it's supposed to. And it ain't rocket science. If you ain't fully retarded, you can manage. I mean, even as a half retard, maybe even a quarter retard, you can probably do it. So We got our starter lead going on. Unfortunately, I can't fire this up tonight because family's already asleep, and I only got about an hour out here anyway. I don't know how long it is since I've been out here now, but got to be up at 5 for work, so I figured we get a good jump on it. I'm happy with where we're at even now, but finish it up tomorrow night. I'm gonna get this crank pulley on. What else? Get the crank pulley on, get the belts on, get the guard back on, get that deck strut back on, and I'll call it a night. But I mean, I don't know where we're at in this video, but you can see that this doesn't take for shit for time. I mean, you've done one, you've done them all, really. It's not anything real crazy. That's exactly why this is a lot of the work that I target doing power equipment through my business, because I mean, it's repetitive. It's not real difficult. I mean, in terms of the company I work for, I do, I'd say 90% of my work is heavy line. Doing axles, differentials, and then gear sets, engines, transmissions, that kind of thing all day, every day. So a 40-pound engine is nothing. Which way am I going now? Okay, that wrench. Doesn't need to be as tight as they had it. They definitely impacted it on there, so. Okay, our drive's on. Put our deck belt on. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Where's our, okay. Get our guard. If I can figure out which hole it went in, maybe that one. I don't know, we'll find out. Should bolt in on the other end. Bolt for that. That was a half. Okay, gotta move you guys. See if we can't get that belt on back up in here. These can be frustrating with one person not holding the other side. Let me tell you. Get in there. Noise. Real noise. All right. Get the deck strut rod back in its home. A little harder now that we're hanging that weight of the strut rod or the deck on it, but resituate. There it is. Put our keeper back on there. Which way was she facing? I think like that. Perfect. Okay, that looks good. We'd be moving on. We're going to go ahead and modify the flange on the muffler that came off of the Briggs engine, and hopefully utilize this muffler. All we're going to do is cut the flange off, and we got to rotate it to mount it to the Kohler, and we'll just weld it back on at whatever angle it needs to be. Now, one of the next crucial steps in this muffler modification is ensuring that you have your fabrication bench chock full of enough shit to where you have just a sliver of room to work. You got an index where I think it needs to be. We're just going to throw probably 2 or 3 tacks on it, go test fit it, and then we'll come back and finish weld it out. I didn't like that. I ground the tacks off, re-indexed it. We're going to try again. Another thing I need to be careful of, I don't want to get too close to the holes, or those flanged nuts are not going to fit. Go ahead and put it on and check that now. That fits pretty nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do short tacks, finish this seam. Then from the inside of the pipe around the flange bolt holes, I'll probably do that on the inside lip. The hell am I doing? I'm right over the flange hole. Fucking must be tired. We'll have to, let's go back and grind those out. Might as well do it on the other side too, and we'll just grind it. It's gonna work better welding it from this side of the flange anyhow. I'm going to just run real thin beads on it and try to be more precise. Or real thin tacks, rather. Or we'll just do a quick stringer like that. Yeah, that's less material to remove now, so that should work good. After taking some time to file those tacks back to about 1/16 of an inch from the actual pipe, got the flange nuts on. Muffler all mounted up. Decent. So we got a new Chinese carburetor.
China!
Rather than buying a parts kit to rebuild on this one, just because the whole Chinese carburetor was
China!
actually cheaper than a parts kit, which is typically how that goes anymore. It's usually easier to buy one of these, put one of these on, than to buy a parts kit for, you know, 40-50 bucks or whatever, and go through the hassle and extra labor of taking this apart. Not that it's real difficult or time consuming, but it is added labor. It's more economical for me to just put a Chinese carburetor
China!
on here. And even if there was an issue with that Chinese carburetor,
China!
it's still more economical labor-wise for me to take off that Chinese carburetor and
China!
replace it with a additional Chinese carburetor.
China!
So that's the route I've been taking here lately on a lot of these, and I've only had one come back to bite me, and wasn't a huge deal. Got it fixed regardless. So, oh, get out of there. Also ensure we got a nice clean terminal and ground. Disconnect that guy. That was a bullet, wasn't it? Yeah, it is. That looks pretty clapped out though. I'm gonna put a new bullet end on this side. Oddly enough, factory wiring, aluminum clad. It's actually crappier than the Chinese.
China!
Interesting. Got it. Wrong socket. not tightening up. It's pulled threads. Well, let's see if I have some Healy coils to fix that. Shame on Kohler for this ridiculous design. What's going on? So they have a cut in the end of this 1/4-20 bolt to actually make it self-tap. Well, when you only have a few threads of engagement into this, that ain't a great design. Unless it's just chewed the threads out of the front here, it doesn't grab threads for half that threaded portion. So we're gonna go ahead and put a Healy coil in there. Just get it to actually tighten up. And this is exactly where a tap socket would be far handier than adjustable wrench, but work with what you get. That looks good. Just going to put some Loctite on those threads. Red, of course. You don't want this crap coming out. We're going to take it just below the surface. Knock that tail end off now. Just like that. So I did a couple things here while I've been letting that Loctite have a little time to tack up. Did install our new fuel pump already. The carburetor actually came with a new fuel filter, so I went ahead and put that in. And we're all hooked up. I'm going to go ahead and put that air filter plate on. I haven't given it a whole lot of time to set up, but it'll be fine. It's been probably 10 minutes, you know, so. Oh, new find there. I don't know if the camera's going to catch that. Our breather here, or PCV, however you want to call it, is plugged up. That would have done nothing. We'll clean that out too. That's better. But as if this Chinese pump is any good and Chinese carburetor is any good. You know, actually one thing I want to check right quick. Keys on. We're in park. So even if the seat safety's intact, if all the safeties are intact, we should be able to fire it, but we should hear a click. I want to put power to the battery cables here. Hear that? That's that shut-off solenoid on the carburetor. It's cycling, so that's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's come back over here. Interesting. So is it not opening that solenoid, I gotta wonder, with no battery hooked up? Let's try to put a battery in it, see if we get any change. Okay, we got a junk battery all installed. We have the charger currently on that, set to 40 amps. Key on. Am I looking past? Found a 20 amp popped fuse, so went ahead and put a new one in there. We're gonna try again, see if it does anything, see if it pops that fuse again. If it does pop that fuse, I don't know if it was already popped or if I had popped it with just plugging it directly in and not switching any of the schematic around. I haven't looked at either of them. Not gonna bother unless it pops that again. I want to see if this thing will fire off. So choke. Down to an idle. See if it'll restart now. I'll shut it off and we'll try to restart. safety switch issue because it won't start with the key, safety switch or ignition switch itself.
Go ahead and check the battery now to see if we're charging. So 14.3 at idle. 14.36. 14.31. That's charging. Right on. Let's try PTO. See if we got any belts, pulleys that need replaced. Switch works. That belt's intact. It may be our pulley diameter just isn't going to work, and we're going to have to swap it out for a shorter belt. That's what it's looking like. It's not even attempting to spin, so hey, at least we got to drive. We're making progress here. what a unit. So, did a couple things here off camera. Covered up the ugly seat with a new seat cover. As you can see, the headlights work correctly, just cranking and in run. That's the one wiring modification I had to do between the Briggs and the Kohler, and that was just right down here. Originally, we had our what was this? A yellow wire tagged into this blue wire. Oh, out of frame. That yellow wire is, or how did I do that? Let's take a gander at this real quick. That yellow wire is our power supply to the headlight harness. It was tagged into this blue wire. This blue wire is a constant 12 volts. And this red wire down here is actually a keyed 12 or a cranking 12 volt. So we simply just jumped our yellow wire that is for our headlight harness into the red wire, which is our keyed power, and got the headlights working how they should. Everything else between the two engines is wired the same, so good on that front. What else? We did, because of the fire this thing was involved in, the harness for the headlight sockets was all burned up. So it's a new harness, some new loom on it. I also put a very tasteful weather pack connection in line there, just for ease of service. That way, if you want to take the hood off, rather than pulling each of the bulb sockets, taking it out of the bracket down here to get the hood off, you just got to undo that inline connection, pop it out of that bracket, and the hood will come off without messing with the bulb sockets. A little simpler, not much, but every little bit makes things serviceable, so anything that's going to save you time. I think that's, oh, okay, so another thing that did coming in the mail was an air filter and a pre-filter. We got those all installed. After determining earlier in the video that the PTO did nothing, I went ahead and pulled the deck off to find the spindle pulleys completely locked, the tensioner assembly completely locked, and both of the idlers completely locked. So I ordered a deck kit for this that will consist of 2 new idler pulleys, 2 new spindle pulleys, a belt, and 2 new blades. And we'll go ahead and rebuild the deck, put that back on. Don't need to see that. There's plenty of videos out there on that. And I'm thinking I'm going to have to go with a slightly shorter belt. Unless the belt that was on there was significantly stretched, it did not look like it was going to do the trick. So I do have a whole hoard of belts, and I did happen to have, this one is a 102 or a half by 102. The belt that this machine calls for from the factory was a half by 103 1/4. So we got a belt that's 1 1/4 inches shorter sitting here, and I'm hoping that one will do what I need it to do. So yeah, we'll rebuild the deck on it. We'll go ahead and swap that belt. If that works, great. If not, we'll try maybe 102 1/2. I don't want to step it up too much. And then I don't know if we're going to be able to rejive this battery, so we'll likely be picking up a battery for it. Aside from that, that's about it. There you have it. We went from a 21 horse pile of crap Briggs to a 20 horse Kohler. Far superior Kohler. So, one other addition I just did think of, that tire's got a slow leak. We're going to slime it, see if it seals. If not, we'll pop the bead off and put a tube in it. I'm going to have to go through and detail this unit. We'll sticker it up, and
she'll be on Marketplace here in the next few weeks. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. If you didn't, go ahead and go fuck yourself, because I don't really care. If you're not already, do consider subscribing. Greatly helps me out. Doesn't cost you a dime. Kind of new to the channel. We now are a YouTube partner, so we do offer memberships that will get you early access to certain videos, as well as shorts. We're going to start doing more of those. And we have opened a merchandise store. Go ahead and go check that out. Pick you up something cool. Just support the channel if you would. And hey, till the next one, you guys take it easy.